Hey, I'm Fred Minnick with a hot take on what's happening with whiskey auctions across the country and the world. Over the past decade, I've helped charity auctions and auctioneers understand what they have in collections and actually help them find bottles to sell, especially when it comes to charity. And all charities, especially here in Kentucky, they always want one brand, and that's the best performing brand in all auctions for American whiskey, and that is Pappy Van Winkle. Year in, year out, somebody generously donates a bottle for something like the Ronald McDonald House, which we helped raise $150,000 for this year through a charity raffle, or the Speed Museum, which just had its Art of Bourbon and has sold many a Pappies in years past. But what they had this year that was the best-selling bottle was a Michter's, and we have seen Michter's continuously dominate the whiskey auction circuit this past year. And in fact, there was a barrel of Michter's that went for $209,000 earlier this year. Last year, there was one that went for nearly $4,000. And today, I'm going to take you inside a live auction as we take a look at whiskeyauctioneer.com. And if you take a look here, folks, the number one product for sale right now at 5,800 euros is a Michter's 25-year-old single barrel rye from 2014. It is outbidding by 600 euros, as you can see, the old Rip Van Winkle 23-year-old decanter. Now, what does this mean? I just think that people really have a taste for these older Michter's. Michter's does really, really well in auctions at these older ages, and I think that people might just be a little bit over, the Van Winkle side. What I find interesting in this lot is that you are seeing Whistle Pig of all things, the first edition coming into the top 10. We have three Michter's, however, the 2016 Celebration Sour Mash and the 2017 25-year-old Michter's Bourbon, which I have a bottle of right here that I finished. Had I known that it might be worth... Actually, no, I would have drank it. But to me, the shocking evidence that Michter's really is starting to catch the eyes of people who go to whiskey auction houses is the fact that you have three Michter's right now outperforming the coveted, the legendary 1974 Van Winkle. Absolutely amazing to me that this right here, I mean, I'm telling you, this, when I was building the Bardstown Bourbon Company's vintage bourbon selection, this was the number 2 product on my radar. Number 1 was being the Old Crow chest decanter piece. But this right here is so phenomenally rare because of that red dripping wax. This red dripping wax basically got ended because Maker's Mark threatened to sue Julian Van Winkle over it. So that red dripping wax, when you see that bottle, you know you got a rare one. And it's always a fantastic pour. And is it worth 2,600 euros? Absolutely. I would spend that money on it if I had that kind of money. But I'm just looking through this list here. And again, I'm just fascinated by what is moving. The highest Pappy we have is a 2013 23-year-old. So this was, they didn't start calling it Pappy till the 1990s, and they changed this label, but this would be one of the later years, 2013, and it's at 2,000 euros right now with 48 bids. That is something. Some years ago, this would be definitely beating the Michter's products. Now, why is Michter's getting getting an edge on some of these? The best that I can tell you is that they're in the news a lot for their association with these, with that barrel that went for $209,000, as well as their association with the movie Billions. And as I noted in my discussion of Michter's, in the Art of Bourbon auction. They are kind of like the rich guy with the planes favorite whiskey right now. And rich guys with planes are the ones who come to bid on really rare products. But I'm just looking at this right here. Chuck Cowdery named this one the one of he wrote a book called the Greatest Bourbon You'll Never Taste, and it was about the A.H. Her 16-year-old, which ironically was distilled in Pennsylvania at the former Michter's distillery and bottled and aged partially in Kentucky. So this is an amazing bourbon, and the fact that a more contemporary Michter's is out, several contemporary Michter's is outbidding it, really quite fantastic in terms of like what has kind of changed in the market. Boy, but you still look at this whiskey auctioneer site, which I am serving as kind of like a consultant for them, but this is live data. This auction is open through the 19th, and even if you don't bid, I recommend going and checking it out if you are a whiskey fan. I mean, these prices, you know, everything is kind of going up in terms of like bids and prices, but this is crazy. A 12-year-old lot. Oh my goodness, this is the 12-year-old. Let's see. Let's get a closer look at this guy. Look at that. Oh boy. Yeah, that's one I'm probably going to edit this out, and I'm going to put a bid on this one. I might put a bid on that one. The other thing, one of the other things they have is this Old Saint Nick collection. Again, and more dripping wax, where, you know, definitely Maker's Mark would have came after him for that one. But this auction ends on October 19th. I think this is one of those that you definitely would want to take a look at as well. Very Old Saint Nick is usually just completely loaded with Stitzel-Weller liquid, and some of them have Brown-Forman liquid in them, but they're all excellent. All of them are excellent. Oh my goodness, look at this. Oh, 1962 8-year-old bottle and bond from Stitzel-Weller. Oh man. So this bottle right here. This bottle would have been this would have been one of the bourbons that Pappy would have, you know, personally been a part of. You know, he passed away. Pappy passed away in 1965. So this would have been a bottle that would have been produced when Pappy was living. So this is going to be something that, you know, was good. In fact, 8-year-old Stitzel-Weller, sign me up all day long. I like to see too, like the depth of the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Really, pretty much everything is there, and there's also a lot of the single oak projects, which we're not seeing those up in the higher bids. In fact, let's go ahead and see if we can see if we can look at these based on, we're looking at them based on lowest price to see what's not getting much action. Now right here, this Jack Daniel's, the green label here, that's a pretty good little value. It's 86 proof, which is 6 proof points higher. But I mean, I think that's one definitely worth getting. This is what's interesting to me. You got something like that old that legacy edition of Jack Daniel's selling for €2 less than the Hudson 4-grain bourbon, and basically the White Dog of Hudson from back in the day. That's interesting. Yeah, a lot of Hudson in here. Let's see if we can find. Oh boy, yeah. There's a lot of value here in the Jack Daniel's collection, and I think that this is going to be one where you can probably, this one right here, the 2011 edition, that is super super tasty. This one has less of a banana note to it than a lot of the Jack Daniel's releases. So if one of your turnoffs to Jack Daniel's has been you don't like the banana, you'll find less banana in that one. Now this is a bottle that we know this will skyrocket. This is definitely not going to stay in that €40 price range. It's definitely going to take a big jump. Everybody bids on these Willers like last minute, so that'll probably end up selling for a couple $100. A little miniature of Wild Turkey. Isn't that cute? I love that. So we get back in here in the value range, and this is where these are the two bottles. I kind of called these out on a live stream with the members, which I did this with my members only community in YouTube. So if you're not a member of my YouTube community has already kind of done this with me. We went through the auction list and looked at what might be there for some value. And this one right here, €45, a 90 proof, ancient age, 1994. This right here, I think this is one where if you see it on the shelves at the time, you're buying it. If you have a chance to buy it now at a good price, you're buying it. I mean, this is great value at €45. It'll probably go up, but I would keep a watchful eye on it. I'd probably stay within 150, 200 on that one. Now this is interesting. This is an Old Fitz Prime Leader, and this is basically what larceny is now. And this bottle, basically, it's Heaven Hill, and they changed the packaging. They basically took the liquid that was meant for Old Fitzgerald and put it in larceny because Old Fitzgerald did not move as well. But here's one. Charter 101, 2008. I've always loved this one. This 101 proof. I've always loved this one. I think it's probably going to exceed that value point where we consider it value, but I've always loved Old Charter 101. I'm still just kind of like blown away that the Hudsons are doing so well. I mean, Jack Daniel's isn't getting any respect in this auction here. You got some really great Jack Daniels. I hope some Jack Daniels fans get in here and take a look at what's in here because you're going to get some nice value. This single barrel here, this is, I don't think this is the first single barrel, but this is around the time that they did these private barrel selections. Jack Daniels has not always done those, and I've not tasted this one, but I've never had a Jack Daniels barrel selection that tanked. They're always good. Oh boy. You got the 10-star Kentucky Straight Bourbon 2005 from Ancient Age. You remember these? These are the ones that we used to get before bourbon got all cool, and you would just get it for like $9. Kind of looking at this makes me depressed. I think now we're getting into that typical, I can afford this. This is about where we want to be. Yeah. Again, so much great Jack Daniels in here, not getting the action it deserves, especially the Jack Daniels 150th anniversary. The fact that's at €85 right now, maybe it takes a turn, but I just think it's a better whiskey than what it's getting credit for out here in the auction. Well, here come the Stag Juniors. Stag Juniors You got 5 in a row here at 110 euros. What do you want to bet? It's the same person bidding on every one of them. That'd be kind of funny. That'd be funny if it was all the same person. Okay, here's one. This is kind of like this is a hidden one here, a rare perfection. These are outstanding. These are bottles that are outstanding, and you don't really see them a lot, but they are friggin' unbelievably tasty. Of course, anything coming out of KBD, Willett at that time frame, just beautiful. Okay, so this is where you can really, if you've been studying the bourbon game for a while, this is where you can really get some great flavor that didn't really get into the know, and that's in the Buffalo Trace Single Oak Project. That's where they would take basically a tree, and they would cut it up and make like an actual single barrel out of it. And they would do like this experiment of like all of these. Every tree would make a couple barrels, and they would put whiskey into those, and then they would have people vote on what their favorite was. Mine, I still cannot find my notes. I can't find my notes, but it was either barrel 80, 100, or 101. I know I liked all three of those. I don't think 80's in here, but I know 100 and 101 are in here. So, if you can find those, take a bid. Now, the decanters, Cabin Still, this was the best-selling whiskey at the time for Stitzel-Weller. And this was right after the Van Winkles had sold to Norton Simon. And this decanter would have been like, something that the new regime was really excited about. So they would have put good whiskey in it. Now, decanters, to me, they are hit and miss. But, man, when it hits, some of the best stuff you've ever tasted. All right, let's just I'm going to move along a little bit here. Get a little bit more into that mid-tier range. Okay, here's one. This is a nice fill level on this Old Fitz from 78, my birth year, by the way. I've had a few of these, and they are really, really good when the fill level is right. But these tend to have like a lot of evaporation. So you tend to get a lot of fill levels that'll be right here at that point. But this is right where you want to be. Obviously, you'd like it up here, but this is acceptable, fill level. I would say that this is going to be absolutely delicious. And if you can get this, if the current bidder gets it for 270 euros, that's a steal. That's an absolute steal. Now, we're getting into that kind of that mid-tier range, and it's a lot of the things that you would expect to see in here. The Stags, the Eagle Rares, some of the old Rips, White Label Weller 12-year-old, which, okay, it was nice. It was great. Who am I kidding? Just depressing. I'm becoming really amazed at how well Whistle Pig is doing in these. So you got Whistle Pig right here outselling a lot of the BTACs. Oh boy, here we go. We got an alert for a barrel pick that I know is exceptional. A 13-year-old Weller, although it has a 10-year age statement. This is from Julio's. And this is like an East Coast iconic liquor store. They have incredible palates, and I would be very in a lot of auctions, this, for people in the know, this bottle would be the number one seller. I really am shocked. It's kind of like in this mid-tier range. So let's take one last look here before I sign off of what we've got saying that mid-tier range. A lot of Pappies kind of in these 1,300. You got the 2001 Sazerac Rye there at 1,500 euro. Holy smokes! Holy smokes! Look at this. The Hirsch, the foil, not the wax, is sitting kind of right there in at a price range that's gettable. Of course, there are 4 more days in the auction, or 3 more days in the auction at this point, so I doubt it'll stay at that price range. But this typically goes in that 2,500. I have seen in charity auctions for it go for way crazy more. And there's another Michter single barrel from 2015. It is fascinating to see how Michter's is just jumping in the mix and fighting to be the leader here. So at 25 years old and at 5,800 euros, the 25-year-old single barrel rye is the leader in the clubhouse. Now, I will say that rye is probably the best rye I have ever tasted in my life. So, yes, I think there is something to that. But I also think there's something to the fact that Michter's has a product that's out every day that people can get, whereas Van Winkle does not. So Michter's is kind of taking the approach of marketing to people with wealth, but they're also still very affordable, where if you cannot get one of those bottles, you can get one of their regular bottles for $40, or the sour mash or the rye at an affordable price. But the Van Winkle stuff, you can't get it. And the Weller stuff, which is connected to the Van Winkle stuff, you can't get it. So I think it's interesting to see the auction live, where you're kind of seeing the change in the demand for the high-end bottles. And I think that Michter's might be taking this auction as the number one spot, maybe even taking 3 or 4 in the top 5. So keep a look on that through the weekend. This closes on October 19th. So just take a look, bid if you like, but for me, it's just kind of like I'd love to buy some of those bottles, and I'll be in there bidding on probably some of them. Maybe I didn't tell you about all of them, but there are some really nice. There's a lot of value in there. I think there's an incredible amount of value in the Jack Daniel's line, the Ancient Age. I can't say enough good things about. So go take a look at whiskeyauctioneer.com. Again, I am a consultant with them, so I've been kind of helping them on the side, doing a couple of media events here and there. But to me, this is just a really interesting, fun thing to study, because I've been doing this for so long. It's so rare to get to see it happening live for so long. Usually the auctions are like, hey, can I get a 5 over here? Can I get a 5 over here? I got a 15, 13, 14, 20, da, da, da. It's usually like that. So it's much more enjoyable for me to kind of let it sit there for a week and just kind of click the refresh button. Like, ooh, my God, it's selling for that. Ooh, my God, it's selling for that. So go to whiskeyauctioneer.com. That's no E in the whiskey. And grab your popcorn, because somebody is about to spend a lot of money on a bottle of bourbon. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like to check out more episodes on whiskey, on history, on other cool things, I drink whiskey with celebrities. Click that subscribe button. And if you'd like to become a member and check out a lot of the cool exclusive content that only members get to see, go ahead and click join, and it's starting at $1.99. You can join the members-only community on YouTube. I appreciate your time. Be safe out there. Don't lick handrails. Don't lick trash cans. And remember, vodka sucks unless it's being used for hand sanitizer. Cheers.